Alright guys, well I decided to get a helmet and have that protect my head because I just can't have a bunch of welts on my head going to work. I got one of these cheapo $30 fast helmets. It's the one with the oval openings. There's no brand or anything like that, you know. So this one is the one that has a clear visor, which I would not trust my eyes to. You know, it's so thin. I think a BB would go through that, but I could be mistaken. I'm guessing this is marketed as a BB helmet, but in fact, you know what? Let me show you the helmet in case you are interested in getting this outside of trying to make it fit a dye mask. So you see, there's a big gap right here. A BB won't take your eye out probably, but it could definitely get in there, ricochet off the inside, and maybe hit your eye, which would be annoying. I don't know if you'd go blind off of it, but that's a big gap that if I can get my whole index finger inside there, that's not good. Also, with my really short nose bridge, there's a big gap. BBs would definitely get in through here. If you have a big nose, it would probably seal up better for you. But yeah, I don't get a feeling that these are safe. I have cycling glasses that have thicker plastic than this, you know, and those are cheap cycling glasses, but they're thicker. So anyways, that's not a big concern today. The concern is trying to get my Dye i5 to fit inside this where there's no gap between, you know, here and the helmet. So let's take a closer look at this helmet and see what happens. But actually, let me see what the overlap is right now. So I'll put this mask on. Tighten that down. Alright. So it's definitely just riding way high. If I push it down, my eyes start to vanish. So I'm going to have to cut out a bunch of foam and remove that lens, of course, so I can get this better. So let's take a look at the inside of this thing. All right, here's the inside of this helmet here. It came with these this rear extra pad and an extra front pad, but it actually is missing this side pad. Could have been more careful buying it at the shop, but I don't really care because I think I might end up gutting the whole foam thing. I might have to because it kind of fits a little tight for my extra large head. I wear an extra large motorcycle helmet. Alright, so these things are velcroed on. Yeah, so the pad here, the Velcro tabs are missing. So anyways, it's not a big concern. What I gotta figure out is how to get this out first. It's pivoting behind the slide lock here. So I'm gonna have to take this off just to get to the pivot to remove this. So let me get a screwdriver. Alright, so let's get this off. Just have some magnets zip tied around my screwdriver so I can keep nuts and bolts at hand. Alright, so that was easy enough. Get the other side. Bungee there. So this is a lot smaller of a screw head. Actually, the number 2 Phillips does seem to work. And that's like a wood screw. It's not a bolt. It's a screw. Ah, that was for the the strap, that first hole. So the pivot, oh, I see. Never mind, it was maybe, well, I don't know. This, I think, is meant to lock the strap in here so it can swivel. Yeah, all right. So learning as we go. So there should be a pivot. Not sure if the strap is trapping it. I'm just gonna take it out this other screw anyways. Okay, I see. So that both screws were actually necessary as a stop for the visor to swing on. So, all right. See how here's a view of the thickness of this lens. No, of course this again was a pretty cheap helmet. Okay, so now there's obviously a big gap here. You know what? This might be Velcroed in. I think it is. Let me see if I can get all the foam out. Alright, so learning some more stuff. It's just one big round pad here. So now the thing is I have to put the straps back on and then see. Look at this. So it's clearly, without the foam, I think gonna work. It's just a matter of modifying the foam. But let's get the strap back on. You know, I figured I'd just actually measure the thickness of the things in case you're curious. I'm always curious. So this actual lens is 1.5 millimeters. 1.4. Very thin. But that doesn't concern me since I have the dye mask. What concerns me is also the ends of these straps. Look at this metal piece. Look how thin this is. I'm not even sure if you can see the edge of it. So that's why I also got the calipers out. This metal is 0.4 millimeters. So this is not a very strong clasp mechanism at all. This is so cheap. It's like the thickness of a tuna can. I'm not sure if this is gonna rust after a while. I mean, it looks like it's plated, but not very confident and inspiring. I don't even think I would trust to ride a bicycle with this helmet. But again, well, I mean, bicycle helmets are pretty cheap, but they have to meet safety standards. This does not meet any safety standards, and so they really cheaped out on it. So I gotta get through this thing. So the straps, you'll notice the longer one is going towards the rear. The shorter strap is going to the front. All right. So let's put this back on and see what the fit will look like on my head. All right, let's just flop this on here. So naturally it fits, but what's going on is the back of this giant quick mechanism here is so thick, it's forcing the helmet to go back. So if you wanted to actually cover the front lip of this, I think you'd have to lose the quick mechanism here. But then I guess it wouldn't matter so much because you're just going to you can attach the goggles to the helmet and then just use the chin strap here of the helmet to hold it all in place. Although you wouldn't get as tight of a seal. I don't know what that would do to the fogging ability if the seal of the mask wasn't very good to your face. I don't know, maybe with both it could be done, but I clearly need to have some sort of spacer up in the top of this thing. So I'm now noticing there's a screw missing, keeping the camera mount, in place. So it looks like the same screw that came off the sides here, but I tested it out and it's already stripped. That's why there's no screw. The hole is, stripped out. So that's just never going to tighten. This screw is also stripped. The head itself is stripped. So, whoever's assembling these things just doesn't care, obviously. So this is, be mindful if you buy one of these cheap helmets, your camera, you might lose your GoPro because the bolts might literally come out, because these are wood screws going into plastic. They're not going into metal. And so basically I'm going to drill out these holes and capture the plastic piece. So undo these because they're pretty much worthless. You have fake bolt heads here, it's just molded in. But I have a pilot hole here already because of the wood screw, or the plastic screw. So I'm just going to drill right through them. Luckily with a tactical helmet, it doesn't have to look pretty. I might have to upsize that hole later. We'll have to see. Another concern I have is how strong this plastic is. I wouldn't be surprised if you had the weight of a GoPro or something, or if you just bumped the camera into something, that maybe this plastic would literally break, maybe break right there or there, because I'm not getting a strong impression of quality from a $30 helmet. I think you can even get these things cheaper on like AliExpress. But I didn't want to wait, so I just bought it locally. Yeah, I didn't drill those holes very nice, but again. So I'm going to come back later with this thing mounted with some, proper washers and nylon nuts. Alright, let's see what mods I've come up with here. So I ended up putting M4 bolts and nuts here. And also I'll show you how much foam, and I actually took plastic off this thing. So the foam, first I used this Japanese pull saw because you can do really straight cuts with it quite easily. You can naturally just use a knife if you want though also. The first thing I did is I took, a little bit off at a time. So this was all here before on the back of the helmet. So I took this off, but the dye strap mechanism was getting in the way. So then I took that much off, and then it was still getting in the way. So I cut out that much there. And then I lopped off these from the side here. Maybe something like this. I forget. Well, anyways, I cut off the sides and a little bit off the front as well. So let me put this back into the helmet. Now you'll see when I put the helmet on that this is all dremeled out. I dremeled it and then I used sandpaper to smooth the edges later. I also ended up taking a magnetic clasp mechanism from my old bicycle helmet, and I sewed it on here, and this is just a slide loop here. So alright, so let me cut away with the mask and all that. Alright, so here it is. You'll see that it fits the top of my dye mask quite well, and that's because I dremeled it. And in order to do that, I just used a silver Sharpie. I took a little bit off here, put the helmet back on. I marked off where I need to take off more. And I did that for probably a good hour. But as you can see, I don't think any BBs are ever going to hit my forehead, so that's nice. I ended up having to cut this cloth here, so the strap will go in there. But my neck is still fully protected. So the only issue I have left really is, this is all solid up here, so that's going to be really hot. So I think what I'm going to do, well, I've already done it, is I ordered some replacement helmet pads. I'm going to take out this foam. I'm going to just remove the foam, stick on a few helmet pads in here, and then I'm going to drill a bunch of holes through the top of this helmet. This hole's smaller than a BB, of course, because, you know, right now all the hot air from my head is actually being trapped in the middle here because it's higher than the vents here on the sides, right? So it doesn't make much sense that the vents are lower than the top of the helmet. So I'm gonna see how that works out later on. Okay, well, that's it for today's modifications. Yeah, bear in mind it's a cheap helmet, so, but you can make it work. I think this is gonna work just perfectly fine now. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.